Hello, this is Isaac from Turn Sounds. Toasting a baguette? You'll never forget.
Welcome to Just Keep Walking. This is a podcast focused on the Walking Dead TV show, and today we're talking about Daryl Dixon, Season 1, Episode 3.
Come on, I
no,
cannot
come
wait.
on.
Come on.
Paris, Sera, Toujours, Paris. It's got Paris in there twice.
Toujours, Paris.
Okay, yeah, that sounded a lot better.
That's probably incorrect.
Yeah, well, you did it confidently at least.
That's the main issue, the main thing.
Yeah. We've got spoilers, so if you haven't seen the episode, go watch the episode, or if you don't care, then hey, listen anyway. I mean, this is a spoiler in itself, I guess, but there weren't any major spoilery things, I suppose. There were a few this episode, but not like a big character death, you know, so it is what it is. Let's dive into it. Liam, first impressions.
It's kind of...
I think we introduced ourselves, didn't we?
Oh, no, we didn't. I'm Ben.
Oh, my God, how rude am I? Hello, it's a Shrek reference.
Is it?
Isaac Mark Anthony. Hello. Bonjour.
Still keeping up with the French. I am Liam, formerly known as Liam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff. We're in for a treat
It's
tonight.
going to be a good night. It's going to be a good night.
Quick clarification on
Yeah.
the name. I've got Google saying it
Oh,
here,
all
if
right.
you'd like.
Yeah.
Said like so.
Toujours.
Toujours.
It means always.
What does Sera mean?
I believe it's an old wooden ship.
Is it like
used in the
Paris
Civil
will
War
always
era.
be Paris?
Yes,
Yeah.
probably.
I mean, that would be something else. Paris, Civil War ship that was used in the Civil War era, always Paris. You know, it's got a ring to it.
You heard it here first,
Anything?
folks.
Yeah, it means will be.
Paris will always be Paris. Okay. That's
There you
good to
go.
know.
Yeah, like que sera. What will be, will be.
Yeah.
There you go.
Cool. Okay, first impressions, Liam.
Right.
Whoa.
Good.
That sums it up perfectly. Lots of flapping, lots of noise. No, it was just a strange episode. There were some cool little things that happened in it, but overall, felt a little bit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Isaac?
Easily my least favorite episode of the whole bunch. No, I'm not looking to diss at all the director or the writers, but boy, what a stark difference in just like scenery, characters, general flavor. I've got a few notes, nothing crazy, but confusing a lot of the time. And I'll kind of, get into that as we get into the different scenes. But yeah, easily my lowest scoring one.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, for me, like, I'd still put it at the bottom. It doesn't stand out as like, this is way worse than episode 2. But like, still, yeah, it's just so weird. And there were a few good redeeming things, though. I mean, look at just some of these locations right from the start and all the places they're walking through. There's some pretty cool stuff. So definitely a few cool things in there. But yeah, it's just, it's weird. It's a weird episode.
Yeah, I made a point of saying, my first note was Daryl says, watch the horse, which is kind of like they've learnt their lesson, like protect the horse at all costs.
Yeah. Otherwise, we're going to have to do a whole new side quest. Delay the story again. All right, so what's even going on here? Like, did they establish earlier that they were meeting some guy from the radio? Like, I didn't remember anything.
No, neither did I.
So they had a whole like password check or whatever, where it's like, say the
Yeah.
phrase so we know that you're our guy. He clearly passes the check and then goes full loony bin and starts up with this like orchestra from hell type,
Yeah.
So weird.
And just like, I'm not blaming the actor at all for being crazy, but more so just the whole who chose that it would be good to have a crazy guy like that with his crazy hair and doing all this sort of, like, it's just why was that, how does that benefit the episode in any way? And the whole scene, like, if you cut the whole scene out,
That's it.
what changes? I don't understand the purpose of any of it.
No.
My thought was that maybe they only had that one scene because it was a good idea that they just didn't know how to use. Because it's like, it's a little bit reminiscent of like Princess in the other show, how she like sets up the town to look like they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
So this guy's really missing music and like the good old days when orchestras would play. And so he set up all of these like absolutely crazy designs for, and it's very confronting, I thought. Like going through it, he's having a great time conducting, like the music is moving him, and then you've got just these horrific ways of them playing all the instruments. I just don't like it.
No, it's awful. Like you said, though, it definitely seems like someone just had this idea. Oh, wouldn't it be cool to have like a zombie orchestra?
Yeah.
And they just forced it into a random scene. And yeah, that'll do.
I did have a laugh though for the brass section. He's got like the horns just kind of sticking in their throats, and so as they're making their noise, it's like blowing the horns.
Yeah,
It's
that's something.
ay.
I guess like just a more of a technical filmmaking thing about this whole scene is the perspective. Like at least it should be from Daryl's perspective of like him saying, okay, what's going on here? Who is this crazy guy? But the camera doesn't really tell us who we're supposed to be focusing on or whose perspective the scene is from, because then it'll focus on the guy going up to the stage. And I get if you've put all this effort into the orchestra, you want to do some close-ups of the zombies and all that, but like it was all these things happening and you just didn't know what the point of it was or what it like. What's Daryl even thinking about this? Is he just as confused as we are, or does he think this is normal? Like it's just very hard to tell how you're supposed to even be feeling as you're watching the scene.
Big time.
Yeah. So I mean, at least you could just forget about it and move on after the opening credits. That's a plus, I suppose.
This companion of Laurent, who like, have we ever seen her kill a walker?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because it seems to be this big like lead up with her aiming up and not eventually shooting. So.
Even though it's like the easiest walker to just stab, don't waste a bullet on that.
Yeah.
And even Daryl, he could have just stabbed it. Come on, man. What are you doing? And then that suddenly attracts a whole herd of ninja walkers from around the corner who are suddenly upon them.
The old ninja walkers. We knew they would return.
They're much more forgivable after the orchestra scene. So, yeah. All right, where do we go from here? One random note, I did think the intro to the opening title sequence was pretty... It was like a good... I don't know. It was like a nice just cut transition. Do you want to even play it with the audio, maybe?
Yeah, good a bit of...
Because we're saying...
Right, yeah, because you got the craziness of the orchestra.
Yeah. Just how the... Like, we were talking about that with Dead City and some of these a bit, like, where it feels like it just kind of...
Yeah, out of nowhere.
You're already in the middle of it. It's like, oh, okay. Whereas Walking Dead, that was always cool. Like, you had the... Like, it would really hit and you go, oh, all right, here we go. We're into another episode. Whereas this one, and Dead City especially, just kind of... It was just there and it would just kind of come in and out. It wasn't as much of a statement. But this one I thought worked quite well.
Nice. Any chance we can give this episode props? Let's try.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I got one.
Okay.
All right.
We got another. Well, I suppose it's the same type, but another variant.
Did
Walker.
we?
Yeah, the acid one.
That was
Well,
in
there
the
were
first
two.
episode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got another one of those, but we also
Yeah,
got that one that
that
was
was
chained up and was like ripping out.
What was that about?
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Before we get to that one, just moving chronologically along,
Sure.
as they're walking along, you've got this French rock and roll take on a Doors song.
Oh,
So you've
okay.
got,
So it
just
wasn't like an original French song. Ah.
It's written on this car. I've seen that before.
Straight away, I knew what it was going for. I don't know if you've heard "People
is
Are
it going
Strange"
for?
by the Doors.
Ah.
So this is the original, just for a cue.
You're a stranger, faces look ugly
Ah.
when you're alone.
Right.
Which actually makes a lot more sense in this world because he's talking about, people are strange when you're strange and faces are ugly and everything. Oh, yeah, that's a lot like the Walker universe. And I thought, why are they doing a French rendition of that song? And, they're walking along talking and it's still in the background. And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
okay, so this conversation's just supposed to be a fleeting one so that they can, fade the music back up and do more, transitional sort of scenes. But it just made it seem so confusing, the tone of it. Like, Daryl and Laurent are, like, walking along having a conversation, and it's still, like, playing in the background. I just have no idea. Like...
It's about a wary woodsman who wants to die.
What are your
That
thoughts,
comes,
firstly?
He has a change of heart.
I agree. I didn't realize that's what it was, but yeah, it definitely felt a little bit bizarre.
Because that's like, we've never had that in the whole Walking
No.
Dead universe. Like, for lack of better words, a pop song playing like as background music, essentially. We've had a few songs for certain scenes or montages, and then they'll fade out pretty quickly, but this is the first time it's like an extended one, and especially straight after the opening credits.
I'll bet you actual Norman Reedus, like Jim Morrison, was like, must have been a hero of his, and like he happens to know like the trivia that he died in Paris. He's like, oh, we got to do a tribute to Jim Morrison while we're doing all this.
Yeah. Wait, Jim Morrison's not part of the group that wrote this song, though, hey? That would be. Is he?
Not he's part of the Doors that did the original version of the song. Yeah.
All right. Oh, well, so it all kind of... Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Ties it in a bit more, I guess, but it's still random. It feels like a Grey's Anatomy scene or something, like where you've got, the opening title credits and a pop song playing underneath while they're talking. I'm sure there's a bunch of other shows that do that, but definitely not Walking Dead.
No.
Well, also now that you bring it up, like in the original show for Walking Dead, every time there was like a pop song, forgive me if I'm wrong, but it was always played like in the scene over like a loudspeaker or like a boombox or like...
Not always.
No?
No.
Because I can think of like easy ones are like Easy Street, where that's actually being played.
For sure.
Or you've got the burning down the house as they're like evacuating the town. There's like that funky like
I know the one you're thinking of.
whatever, like
when they're raiding the cinema.
Yeah, like all ones like that, they were actually being played in the scene.
Yeah, there were a few. Probably the closest to this sort of thing I can think of is like towards the end of season 4 when Glenn and his crew rock up at Terminus, and it's playing like, I don't know the name of the song. Be Not So Sorry, I think it is, something like that.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember that at all, but that's kind of...
for what's Tainted Meat, what's his name?
Bob.
Bob. Wasn't there like a song playing as well for his montage?
The montage, yeah.
Okay, all right.
There's a bunch of those sort of things, but it's very much like that'll be sort of the full soundscape pretty much of the scene. There'll be sound effects over it, but there's very rarely, if ever, a conversation happening over the song.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so it didn't fit for me like in here. I appreciate the homage or whatever, but yeah. Yep.
Yeah, fair enough. That, I guess that on top of the orchestra thing again feels like just some random guy's idea or Norman Reedus or whatever. It's like, oh, this would be kind of cool. Yeah, whatever. We'll just do it. Who cares? Like, rather than being really strategic and intentional about what goes in the episode.
Well, not to hover too long on this one thing,
Sure.
but like Ben, like you'd know this from being like in the editing room when you've looked at a scene 50 different times, like you've played it through, you're doing it again and again and again, you're making sure that maybe a backing track is not too overpowering or whatever. How did it not cross anybody's radar where it's like, we've got this scene of them walking and talking along. Clearly when they were walking and recording it, it would have just been silence, right?
Yeah.
Oh, do you know what would be good behind this? Is it this, cover track of a... maybe if it had cut to an instrumental version of it.
Yeah,
when they were talking behind, but like, I don't know.
There you go. Let us know what you think. turnsounds@gmail.com is where you go. Let us know if you liked it. I mean, I didn't hate it as I was watching. I was like, it's kind of funky. Like, it's weird, but it is what it is. So,
C'est la vie.
Nicer to watch than the orchestra for sure. My next note is about, the zombie experiment, which skips forward quite a bit. Have you guys got any other notes or any stuff to talk about here?
Just one from me about the Pigeon King here guy himself. My note is, dude straight up kissed a rat with wings. You want to die, my friend? Don't kiss a pigeon. They're actual vermin. What are you doing?
That's good to know.
There's something about these pigeon keepers like that. They always have the same like tweed jacket on, you know, up on the roof, and they have this weird relationship with their, you know, pigeon friends that they spend so much time.
Home Alone 2, hey?
That's it. Or John Wick. Yeah.
Was that in John Wick? I don't remember that.
The king guy. What's his name? Lawrence Fishburne.
Ah. Yeah, right.
Sitting there
Okay.
stroking a pigeon like for the whole movie.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Okay.
Since I've seen that one.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, any other notes?
Now let's go to the
Cool.
experiment.
Yeah, so I mean, who knows what's up with that, but we've got like, I'm very curious because I haven't addressed it so far. The whole runner thing that was teased at the end of World Beyond, in that little after credit scene, because that was very much in France. We've got these walkers who are a lot stronger and can actually like run across the room really fast, and that, I mean, like, if you're not gonna address that in the show where Daryl goes all the way to France, I don't know what you're doing. So that kind of seems like it could be what this is, because he kind of, pulled the thing off the wall, seemed to be moving differently, but yeah, who knows? What do you guys have any ideas?
Big time. I thought this
Okay.
was going the complete opposite way. I thought they're
Right.
working on some kind of a cure where he's all chained up, and then all of a sudden he's like twitching more and more, and then he starts to like straighten up a bit more and get a lot more docile. So they're trying to find a way to like shock the brain into acting normal again or something.
See,
Play in the
I went-
orchestra without resisting.
I went a slightly different take on that. I went down the path of they're trying to find a way to weaponize them by making them more volatile.
Looks like it's working. You gotta love the head in the jar as well. As
yeah. Like a... Yeah, so like for now, I'm on board with it because it's got me curious, but it'll just depend where they go.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't like his mad scientist hair. I mean, like, come on.
Come on.
There was actually, I saw it was on Instagram or whatever, someone just with a few screenshots from the early seasons of saying, I miss when Walking Dead, when the aesthetic was people drenched in their own sweat. And like, if you think back to the early seasons, you can remember that everyone had all, sweat patches on their shirts and stuff, and it just felt real and gross.
Yeah.
Whereas, the later seasons, and definitely applies to this as well, it very much feels like Hollywood, they've got makeup on, everyone's sort of, if they look disheveled, it's a very controlled sort of disheveled, which just makes it feel a little bit less real. But yeah, it's not a biggie, it's just an interesting thought.
It also is a bit of a cliche, the mad scientist with the clean lab coat but frizzy hair.
Yeah.
Well, you've
After we've
seen it.
already had that crazy music guy with his hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
So look, that'll be interesting. See where it goes. This whole set, her apartment and stuff, and I loved especially the second door they went out of that had all the vines across it. I just thought that looked really cool. Overall, we've got that guy back.
Yeah, well, there's a convo here between Isabel. I keep going to call her Elizabeth, but Isabel and Daryl. Usually, anytime these shows slow down and start to have conversations like this, I get tired, I get sleepy, and I wonder why we're kind of wasting time. But this did feel a bit more productive, and my note for this one was that there was a nice ambience behind it. There's the sound of the wind going, there's some birds chirping in the background. And I don't know, it didn't feel as stale and kind of sterile as a lot of these other conversations tend to do.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Nice.
I like the way it's framed as well. Good
It's a
couple
good
of different
plus.
angles.
Yeah. I don't really know what to think about the bit when he goes to the door and opens it and there's a bunch of walkers right there. I mean, like...
I looked down when that happened, actually.
Oh, okay, yeah, play that again. It's in just a minute from here. Yeah, like logically it's a bit weird because you can hear them right outside the door. Why would you open the door? He's just not even thinking. But as a visual, it looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
It just doesn't even care. He's just, not
Right,
that
we're
way.
going that
Let's
way
just
now.
close the door. It's not like he's even surprised. Yeah. Yeah.
At this point, you've been around the apocalypse this long. It's like,
Sure. Yeah, well, maybe that's it. He's just let his guard down so much. Oh, well. It's another day.
I can absolutely vouch for like vines and overgrowth being such a pain and being a lot stronger than they look.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
This girl.
And I liked that the girl couldn't move because she was caught up in the vines. That was a cool visual.
Do you remember we talked about maybe in episode 1 or 2 or something about this little girl and how like they better not show her as a zombie?
Yeah, yeah.
And now look, what's
You
with her
predicted
face
it.
too?
Yeah, someone cracked on the side
Yeah.
like China or something. What is going on there?
But not only that, but her nose.
Yeah, so she's
So
been
she's got Voldemort
yeah.
vibes going on.
No, so she's gotten savaged by some, walker at some point.
Doesn't look like it though.
Yeah, it looks more like cracks or
Yeah.
Maybe scratches
like
or
her skin's shattered or something.
or she's been caught up in the vines for so long.
Maybe
Yeah.
she's a variant.
Ah.
Maybe.
There's got to be a better way to animate these things falling.
They
They seem
didn't
so
look right.
No. Actually, I did. Speaking of animations, though, did you notice it had like a Last of Us sort of thing going on with the veins?
pulsing. Like
Yeah. It gave me Last of Us vibes.
No, I didn't notice that. Yeah, okay. Right.
there you go. How did you guys feel about like him using the acid to melt the stuff?
I think it would have worked a lot better on page on the script than it actually ended up working. Because the thing is, if all he needed to do was cut through the vines. Oh, okay, I guess that's it. And then he can open the door, is it?
Something like that.
But it was just weird. Then he used it to push the door open as if, yeah, because the vines on the side were already broken. So it kind of seemed like that was completely pointless. He could have just opened the door in the first place. Just the way it actually looks.
It was
Because he was, sorry,
Go-
it's
yeah.
right, yeah, he was frying the vines in the middle, but he only needed the edge to be cut off for the door to open. And if you look at how the door opened, all the vines in the middle that he just fried moved with it anyway, if you know what I mean.
I get it.
Yeah. Sorry, what were you saying?
Just it's creative, yes, but also like falls into the category of just like stupid zombie things.
Yeah, sure.
Like I often think about that one scene that Ben only ever showed me with like the axe splitting the bullet to kill 2 zombies from like
Oh,
Fear
yeah,
the
from
Walking-
Fear.
this is close.
Yeah.
This is close.
Yeah, that was something. So I mean, I like the way the I think they're called burners. That's what I've heard. The way they moved was kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, the falling animation didn't look great, but so enough of it worked.
I
So-
hope not to see them animate too much more of the actual Walker stuff. As far as
Sure.
like those veins pulsing and everything. It strangely broke the illusion for me. Like
Yeah.
the makeup and the puppetry and everything famously throughout this whole universe has been so fantastic.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, if they do too much with CGI, I think it almost lessens the quality somehow.
That's fair. I mean, I'm sure they will. I do hope they do more with the whole burning acid side of it. Because, yeah, like, at the moment, it's just kind of a random gimmick that hasn't affected the scenes too much. But surely there'll be something where, like, it would be a situation that's easy to solve if you could just go up and stab it, but you can't because it's going to spray acid everywhere. And that'll cause some other problem. So, like, yeah, there's got to be some sort of payoff for that. Otherwise, it seems like a bit of a waste to introduce a whole new variant,
Yeah.
especially when you've already got these other runner variants teased, which they might just sweep under the bed
Yeah.
and try to make us forget about.
Which, given how much those two, well, I was going to say episodes, those 2 seasons flopped, wouldn't be surprised if they do just sweep it under the rug.
Sure, yeah.
Did you see that shot just before? This whole kind of like, I don't know if it's like
Walking
on a
through the
rail or
catacombs.
there's something a little bit video game-ish about it
Yeah.
that I didn't like, and they seemed like they were pretty impressed with. I mean, it is impressive, but like, yeah, it's just such a different shot to then all of the other shots that come after it. That I was like, you liked that one a little too much, didn't you?
I agree. But I love that they're going through the catacombs. Like, that's a real cool way to use Paris. And
I had no idea that that was underneath.
So is that like that's real then?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, all the stuff he was saying that, France has been through apocalypses before and we've come out the other side. That, yeah, it's a cool perspective. This whole thing, Black Death, zombies.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Now here's the scene we've been waiting
Here we
for.
go.
Liam?
I have no words. This was the weirdest thing I've ever seen on The Walking Dead. This was so
If you haven't guessed already, listeners, we're talking about the nightclub, would you call it?
Yeah.
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 Weird.
Look at that guy
Oh.
dancing in the background. They couldn't get enough extras, so it's like they're all spaced out. Yeah, it's just why? And like, it's still the apocalypse. You still got to survive.
Yeah.
You can't be acting like this all
No.
frivolous. Like, if they really had that many resources, the whole world around this would be built up a lot more. Like,
Exactly.
you can't go and dress up like that with all the makeup and
No.
everything. Like, where are you getting it all from? And how much energy you're spending on that instead of food and survival? Like, you got a whole PA system just for the sake of some music.
Yeah.
Like, there's each little detail. It's not so bad in itself, but the whole thing overall is just so stupid.
Yeah.
Much though I don't like it, right? And this always falls under the category of like, does it make sense? Sure, you can make it make sense, but
Exactly.
it doesn't mean it fits well on the screen. And I think, well, music and like keeping up morale go hand in hand, and that's why like
Sure.
scattered throughout every single tragedy everywhere that emerges like one single person with like a guitar cheering up people and whatever the thing is. So
Zombie
yes,
orchestra.
there you go, zombie orchestra. So yes, very like not pointless scene, but I think just like shuffled up the wrong way.
Yeah.
You could have had a music club. You could have had a single guy like on the piano still playing that song with the lady singing, and it would have been fine. You didn't need the rest of everything that was going on. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not the right vibe
Nah.
for what we want. So, hey, I mean, anyone listening, let us know if it's like, if you saw this and you were like, oh, this is cool, this is awesome. Let us know, because
Yeah.
we're very happy to be wrong. But for us, it's just like, as fans
That's
of Walking
ridiculous.
Dead, it's like, all right, let's watch an episode of The Walking Dead spin-off show, whatever. It's like, this just isn't what we want to see.
Nah.
Again, I did like Laurent being just weird and awkward and going up and talking to that lady. Like, he just seems very believable. Like, he just doesn't really know what the proper etiquette is, and he'll just go up and say what he's thinking. So that was kind of, that
Yeah.
was something.
My note for this scene is Justin Timberlake.
Oh, yeah, right.
This dude's sitting there, like, looking through their satchel and everything. Tell me that's not the spitting image of, like, or, like, Justin Timberlake's brother or something like that, if he has one.
In that case, it echoes a scene from Social Network very strongly. I'm pretty sure he's there in that nightclub scene when they're talking with the music in the background and stuff.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah. I was thinking John Wick as well, though.
Okay.
Those kind of vibes, nightclub, Paris.
Oh, sure, yeah.
The blue fluoro lights, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I don't know. What else is there to say, really?
Not really a whole bunch.
So, look, a couple other notes I've got. Let me just skip through those ones.
Oh,
Yep.
old mate comes back.
Mm.
So we were wondering about him in the previous episode, whether we'd ever see him again, and turns out he's Daddy-O.
Yeah. I just don't really care that much.
Nah,
about
I'm
this
on the
guy.
same page.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure it'll become relevant now, and they'll give us a reason to care because it'll affect the main characters. But as far as the whole drama of him being the dad or whatever, it's like whatever.
Definitely.
There is a part. Could you go a little earlier, Isaac? I think it's maybe when they first walk into the nightclub and the African king-looking guy with the white beard who is leading him. He says something to Daryl. He's like, "Oh, you help us, we help you."
Yeah.
I think, yeah, it's around here somewhere. And if you can bring up the audio for it, it was just real funny the way Daryl responded, I thought.
Mm.
Oh, wait for it. Oh, yeah.
You got someone in here that can help me get home?
People find all sort of things here. You helped us. Now we help you. I'll go find some friends who can maybe
All right.
tell some-
I just thought that was funny. I like that we're still getting those sort of Daryl moments, just weird stuff. There's two other notes I've got. One's the obvious one, which is the very end of the episode, but the fight music before that,
Fight music?
Yeah, when they're fighting and chasing each other all around the rooftops. We talked in the first episode about like the montage when he's walking across fronts and how the music sounded very a fake, for a lack of better words. It was the word where they're using like libraries of strings and stuff like that, but it's not an actual orchestra playing it.
Yeah.
And the fight music I thought really stood out as really cheap sounding. Sorry to the composer, I'm sure I'm sure it's hard to do. But at the same time, there's a composer I'm working with who's really learnt how to do it in a way. You've got to sort of press the keys in a certain way that makes it sound more natural and kind of hides the fact that it's fake. So I feel like there is a way to do it, and for a big budget show like this, it really should sound better than it does. If you skip a little bit forward to the part where they're actually punching each other.
I didn't know that it was main bad guy that he was tumbling with. I thought it was someone else.
Right. With those trumpet blasts.
Yeah, I get you.
It's just kind of like very generic action music. No themes weaved in there or anything, which is all right. You don't have to do that, but at least it could sound, just not draw attention to itself. But this pulled me out of it to the point, where I was thinking about how fake and average the music sounded. So that's just a constructive criticism, hopefully,
not offensive to me, just not creative or didn't stand out as great.
Sure. But this was definitely the funniest part, the roof collapsing at the end. And they couldn't even animate it or anything. They just had him dug down out of the camera. What a way to end the episode.
Terrible. Could not help but actually burst out laughing when that happened. All he needed was a little Wile E. Coyote sign that said "help" as he fell. You know, I don't know.
So it's just lots of weird stuff. Hey,
any highlights?
Variants.
That's
the only one I've got.
Yeah, and the sets, I thought pretty much all of it looked legit. All the tunnels, with all the graffiti, and then obviously the catacombs. But the exteriors, the vines, it all looked really good, I thought. So I'm quite happy about that.
My highlight is kind of funny because I'm sure it would have happened off screen and we never actually got to see it. With the whole crazy conductor at the start, how he looks back at them once or twice to go, isn't this amazing? And then as he's conducting, they just let's get out of here.
Just walk off.
And then they're you have to imagine at some point he would have looked back again. Oh, they're gone.
At what point does he stop playing music then and just keeps going? Yeah. It's good stuff.
That'd take ages to wind down. When would they stop playing the stuff?
Yeah.
When the music's... I don't know.
Yeah. Nice. Well, any theories listeners have, they're welcome to send them through. Once again, turnsounds@gmail.com or Instagram, Just Keep Walking Podcast. Definitely keen to hear other people's thoughts, perspectives, especially on this episode. There's a lot of things to have opinions about, so... Yeah. Have we got
3 more episodes, do we?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. It started off on such a high for me.
Yeah.
Episode 1 was brilliant. Episode 2 was still pretty dang good. And this is the... Ooh.
Yeah.
I'd kind of told
Yeah.
myself halfway through, if I wasn't watching this with you guys, I wouldn't be watching this at all,
Sure.
which is kind of a shame. But, you know, I'm enjoying it with you guys, so.
I will say, as one more positive, compared to last week's episode, I think the thing that works for me a bit better with this is it feels more like it's moving forward, whereas last week,
Sure.
aside from the fact that they got a horse instead of a mule, like you could have just skipped the whole episode and there's not really
Yeah.
anything important that happened. But this feels like the plot's moving forward. We're getting, revelations about the characters and they're actually physically moving, across Paris and trying to, get closer to getting Daryl to the boat or whatever. So yeah, it feels like things are happening because that was the worry in episode 2 was like, you've only got 6 episodes and you've still got a filler episode in there. So
Yeah. Is the radio for the boat, is it?
I think
Seems
so.
to be to call a boat. Maybe that was what I was thinking.
Okay. I was thinking it was like to reach back home to the Commonwealth or whatever, like a long-range transmitter thing, and
Send a helicopter.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Don't go too close to the Eiffel Tower. We heard what happened last time.
True, because we had that prediction. How was the Eiffel Tower going to look?
Yeah.
So, yeah, the top's
Yeah.
nipped off of it.
Who had what prediction?
I said that it was going to be bent over.
Bent over?
I can't remember what I said.
Yeah, I don't remember what I said.
Oh, well.
There goes your dream of Daryl spearing a zombie on the top of the Eiffel
Yeah,
Tower.
hey, it's not too late.
Well, it depends,
Don't
yeah.
write it off just yet.
Depends where the top of the Eiffel Tower went.
This is true, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's a lot more likely now that we
Yeah.
think about it because it's lower down to the ground.
Yeah. So one last thing is that there's at least I'm pretty sure this is official. If not, it's like fairly solid rumors. Pretty much like that Toby and Andrew would be in Spider-Man. Like it was like we knew that like a year before the movie came out. So season 2's definitely been renewed. I'm pretty sure it started filming like a while ago. And the thing that I'm like 90% sure about is that Carol's going to be in it because I'm pretty sure that was an announcement that was made.
Nah.
Yeah. So what do you think the odds are, or what would you like to see even of season 2? So at the end of season 1, let's say he actually does get on a boat, gets back to America, and then season 2 is just more adventures of Daryl and it's back in America again.
I'd be happy with that.
Or do you think Carol will come to France?
I think it's going to be Carol coming to France. Well, actually, I don't know, because that was one of the reasons why she backed out of this, wasn't it?
Yeah, the actress, yeah.
Yeah, Melissa McBride.
Actually,
Apparently
that's,
didn't want to go
that's
to
a good
France.
point, yeah.
I reckon it's neither then, actually. I reckon
They go to Australia.
Bring it on.
Hey.
G'day, mates.
it's somewhere in between. If there is an in-between France and whatever, then yeah,
The ocean.
sure. Sure. Maybe.
Yeah. Daryl Dixon at sea.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, actually, I'm trying to think of like, yeah, you could have a cruise ship full of zombies or something. Yeah, you could do some interesting things.
Could
For
you spend
like
a whole
one or
season?
two,
Yeah.
Like one of those really big cruise ships that's got like, all lots of restaurants in it. So it's like it's a whole little city.
If that's what
That
we
could
were
be kinda
already
cool.
used to, maybe. But like, we don't like staying in one place in this
Yeah.
universe, really.
Sure.
Even when they set up camps, the camp has to burn down and they have to move. So, according to them.
Yeah. I would be somewhat on board, like, long term of this series being chunks of 6 episodes all in a completely different location.
Yeah.
So you got France, ocean, whatever, and then different places in America. That could be kind of cool. Yeah, see what happens. They could go to the snow, go to Alaska or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
Good work.
Yeah. All right. Well, let us know any of your theories. And until next week, have a good week, I suppose. We'll catch
Yeah.
you then. I've been Ben.
I'm still Isaac.
I am sometimes Liam.
Yeah. Good stuff. Just keep walking, guys. See you then.
See ya.